Welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and as you can tell from the countdown clock, the lesson is about to get started. In case you're new with this, there's a few things I'd like to show you to help you throughout the lesson. These lessons are always guided and shaped by your questions, and if you're live with us today, there's a couple different ways you can do that. One is in the public live chat, and the other is the Ask Jamin a Question button, where you can ask me a question privately, and I won't share your identity in case you're afraid that your question is stupid. But it's not. If you're in the archives, though, then just open up the survey. At the end of that, there's a place where you can ask your question. I will say I frequently get questions from students in the archives watching a lesson from 6 months ago, and I have no idea what they're talking about. So please try to be as specific as possible. If you're watching this at LearnPianoLive.com, there should be a PDF and an MP3 button right next to this video. The PDF will often have additional video links inside, so you can get more in-depth instruction on each of the topics. And if you're the kind of person who likes to print out the PDF so you can make the same notes on your physical version as I'm making during the lesson, now would be the time to do that. The MP3 is just a play-along track so you can practice more after the lesson. In traditional lessons, a teacher is going to actually present some new concept for maybe 5 or 10 minutes every couple weeks. The rest of the time is going to be spent applying and refining those concepts. Well, here I'm spouting off hours of new information every week, so it's totally unreasonable to expect you to actually absorb all of that. Instead, the goal of these live lessons is for you to find some little nugget of something that makes sense but is a bit of a challenge, and for you to go practice it, because practice is where all the improvement's going to happen. So don't feel bad if you have to leave the live lesson when you find that little thing that you're going to practice. And of course, if I'm going too fast, you can always rewind the live lessons or replay in the archives as much as you want. If these live lessons start feeling random or meandering, it's because they are, on purpose. So if you're the kind of person who wants classical training with a step-by-step method, then you're going to want to check out Kloppel Academy on the website. It's included in your live lesson subscription, so you can do both or either. And the upper levels are seriously hard work, but it's going to take you all the way from ground zero all the way up to being ready to enter any major music college as a piano major in classical or jazz. And finally, it's most people's favorite. This is application, where we take the past concepts from other live lessons and we see how they apply to an actual, real song that already exists. And since there's like 1,000 different ways to play any song, you're just going to work on the version that is appropriate for your level. So that might just mean playing one note at a time for right now. Or maybe you're working on chords or covering the full song. Or maybe you're just seeing how the song breaks down so you can better write and transcribe your own songs in the future. But whatever your level is, the goal is not this song. So even if you don't play the whole entire song, you'll get better by even attempting a little bit of it, and attempt it we shall.
Okay, cool. Here we go. Make sure you're ready to go, James.
Welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and these are our, really close up moderators and technicians. This is Jazzy James and the incomparable Kendra.
Guess what? So this week, like next week, we have minimum days. So yeah, I guess.
Sweet. All week?
Yeah.
For no reason.
Parent-teacher conferences.
Oh, is that scary then?
No,
Not for you.
no, I
you're
got
always perfect.
4.0 GPA, baby.
Man. All right, cool. Well, let's see what this song's going to sound like. I'll play all the way through it, and then I'll show you all most of the notes. I'll show you how to figure out the notes that I don't show you. So you'll definitely have a tutorial on the whole thing. But it's a really, really long song, and there wasn't any good place to cut it. And every time I do cut these songs, then I always get feedback from you guys like how come you didn't do the whole song? So we're going to do the whole song, but we're only going to really practice hard the most important chunk of it. So it sounds something like this. Guys, did I screw that up? Okay, I felt like I skipped a line in there. All right, anyway, you were singing along as you usually do every time I start to play. I hear voices in the background. So then let's talk about this note by note here. We're just going to start here on an A. Now, I know there's a lot of scary stuff on the page, but all you have to really worry about if you want to play the melody of this thing, and that would be the first assignment, is if you've not played a song before, maybe pick a shorter one than this. But if you want to do this, then your assignment would be to just play the letters inside of the colored dots. So then the first one is an A, and in order to find an A, you're just going to take any group of 3 black notes and take the middle note and drag it up 1. So that would land you on an A every single time, no matter what piano you're playing on. So we would take an A, and then if we just count up from there, A, B, C, D, D would be the next note. So that would be and dar. And I can't stress this enough. I really recommend at least saying the words out loud as you go, preferably singing, even if you don't like your singing voice, that making some noises with the lyrics as you're playing the notes. And dar, and then the next note up would be an E. And then this next one is an F with a hashtag. We're going to see that a lot in this song. So this would be an F right here. The hashtag in music means sharp, and that means slightly higher or slightly to the right, but only slightly. So we're not going to go all the way to the G, just slightly higher than the F would be an F sharp. So that's that first line right there. And darling I. And darling I. Cool. So after we practice that, as you can tell, I'm kind of splitting up my fingers here. The fingering doesn't matter a whole lot as long as you're not using one finger, which also totally works. But if you're using one finger, you're going to have to be paying a lot more attention to your hand. You're not going to get to look anywhere else and pay attention to anything else. So if you can, kind of split it up so different fingers take on different responsibilities for different notes. Then we're back to that A for will, and then we get to play the exact same thing for be loving you, and this phrase keeps coming back right here, this A, D, E, F sharp. After that, we've got till, which is an E. So then all together, that would be, and darling, I will be loving you till. This next thing is also kind of fast. It's that same E that you were already on, and you say the word we're, and then you're gonna jump up to a G, which is 2 notes away, and walk it straight down. Just watch out for that F. You're not allowed to play that F. You gotta play the F sharp instead. We're 7 D E. We're 7 D E. Okay. Then we're gonna do the exact same thing that we already did this phrase. Could still fall as hard. Then at 23E. So already with those 2 phrases, basically, that one and those 2 phrases, you're already like a third of the way through the song. Let me show you the rest of these notes. I think with that much information, you could probably figure out the melody for the rest of those. So actually, I'm going to play this through, and you can go ahead and practice along with me here. Getting ready for that one, that note right there, and I'm gonna play some other accompaniment down here that doesn't really matter that much, but you can play along with me. We'd go like this: 1, 2, go. And darling, I will be loving you till we're 70. And baby, my heart could still fall as hard at 23E. And then we would go into this thing right here, which is starting on that same D, and I'm thinking about. And that one really isn't going to show up a whole lot more times. It's just that one little intermediate phrase right there to connect that part with the next part. And I'm thinking about. How is a D. So that how is on that next line down there. So that whole phrase, and I'm thinking about how. This next thing is actually probably the easiest part we've done so far. It's F sharp and G, basically back and forth between those 2 until it's time to walk down to that D like you already did. So it's like a slowed down version of this where you get to go back and forth between those 2 right there. So F sharp and G. People fall in love in mysterious waves. Same thing again. maybe just the touch of a hand. Not the exact same notes and same rhythm, but same set of notes and same skill set, definitely. Then, well, actually, we're almost done with this thing.
Hey, Jamin.
Oh, yeah.
It's time. Hey, Jamin, it's time for the feature today. Today,
I love you
it's
so much, Dave.
the chord progression of the day.
It is the chord progression of the day. So today's chord progression gonna go something like this. We're gonna play a C. This is just something that you would like play either when you're just sitting down at a piano and you're not planning on really playing any song, but you want to like play something just to like show that you know how to play the piano, or you could play this at the beginning of a song to like introduce the song. There's a lot of different uses for it. It goes like this. Or it's a lot of different styles, so it's not necessarily one thing. But the chord is just a C chord, so you just play C, E, and G all at the same time. And then you're just going to take these top two notes after this. It's 4 chords total. So after you play this, you're going to take these 2 notes down to the black notes. And then you're going to take those 2 black notes down again. And then the 4th thing is you're going to drop this one out. Like that. So it's you start here and you end here, and the way you get through that is that thing, then drop the top 2, drop them again, and then drop the bottom note. The important part is the left hand, which plays a C, an E flat, a D, and then a G. So that thing, that thing, that thing, that thing, and once we combine those, that's your intro to almost anything. So, and if you just sat down on the piano, and you can play this in any inversion and stuff. If you're already doing inversions, you get anywhere you want on the piano. It'll sound pretty cool and have a nice little intro with just 4 chords. That's a C, an E flat diminished, really, and a D minor 7, and a G7, in case you care about the names for all of those chords. That's all that stuff. So it's time to get back to our song after this short break. So sadly, the lesson preview has come to an end, and it's time to say goodbye to everyone watching the free streams. Of course, paying subscribers at learnpianolive.com can continue watching this lesson and several hundred others like it in the archives. So come on over and check us out, and if you like what you saw, at least like and subscribe, and then tell your friends to head on over to learnpianolive.com to start enjoying this journey with us.